Hari Om. Good evening. A very warm welcome to all of you. Please come. Let's pray together. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amrutam gamaya sahana vavatu sahano bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. O Lord, the Almighty, who also has the divine names Amrutam Shuddhavaha Bhanuhu, to such a divine Lord, together with Shraddha, Bhakti, Prapatti, we offer our humble salutations to seek His grace, His mercy, His love, His compassion, His blessings, His forgiveness, His strength. O Lord, please bless us with the divine qualities of Shraddha, Bhakti, Jnana, Vairagya, only and only to understand Thy true nature. And we beseech in You that at the end of our lives, we reach Thy holy feet. Om Tat Sat. Today, we are on our Divine Discourse number 306 with the grace of the Almighty and the blessings of the Guru Parampara. On the 16th of November 2022, Shubhakrit Nama Samvatsar, Dakshinayan, Sharad Ritu, Kartika Mas, Krishna Paksh, Ashtami, Ashlesha Nakshatra, Brahma Yoge Balavakarane. On this auspicious day of Wednesday and the auspicious time of the evening, we all take a firm resolve in our minds. Na ham karta, Hari karta, Hari prerana, Hari pri. O Lord, whatever comes to me in my life, be it any situation, any circumstance, any incident, any happening, by a person, place, or object, I gracefully accept it as thy prasad. I know that you have created a master plan to lift this soul from the ocean of births and deaths. Resting my complete trust in you, O Lord, I accept everything as a prasad from your end. Our humble salutations to the entire Guru Parampara. Om. Good evening, everybody. A very warm welcome to all of you. So, we are studying now one of the most important shlokas of the Bhagavad Gita, Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya. So, now, today we are learning the glory of the Lord. He has already started his work. His main objective to come to this planet was to save Dharma from being downtrodden by Adharma. So, before going into the crux of the shloka, which we have already studied a bit. Now, we learnt that during our last class, the entire planet was getting into the hands of the greatest wicked and treacherous rulers. And who was that? Jarasandha, Duryodhan, Kams. Now all these wicked people, they wanted to establish supremacy on the entire planet. Then he saw that, the Lord saw this and he said, now I have to take charge. And how he at the age of just 11 years, he was 11 years old, grazing his cows, playing his flute in Vrindavan and playing around with his friends and gopis. Suddenly he kills Kamsa. Now, Kamsa was the son-in-law of Jarasandha. And Jarasandha had given both his daughters in marriage to Kamsa. So eventually it was like Jarasandha has got no male heir to the throne. So it was Kamsa's support which he had got. He had got in turn. And who were the two most powerful dynasties of those days which were coming in the way of Jarasandha was the Yadava clan, which was headed by Kamsa, the maternal uncle of Sri Krishna, and then the other one was the Kauravas. So we learnt how he had conquered the Yadava clan by making Kamsa as his son-in-law, and then he had a silent treaty with Bhishma, Jarasandha, that you don't interfere in my business, I won't interfere in your business. So like this, taking charge of these two clans, dynasties, he captured the princess of all the rest of the dynasties in the entire world. There were about 22,800 of them. You know, just go to any kingdom, pick up their young princess and put them behind bars. Imagine what would be the fate of the parents, what would be the fate of the entire kingdom. Then after that, not only taking charge of these Rajkumars, he then said, what if the Rajkumari of a particular kingdom, she gives birth to a male child, and if that male child becomes the king. So then he took hold of 16,100 Rajkumaris, and through Narakasura he was able to do this, because he had, somehow he was against kidnapping women. Two things Jarasandha had in his life, although he was a very wicked person, he respected the Brahmins. Of course, that was in a way to gain popularity in his kingdom. And second is he respected women. These two things. So one of the conditions where he respected women, so he told his a friend Narakasur, okay, you do this job for me. And Narakasur had a great interest in eloping women, so he happily did that. So in this scenario, now Krishna takes the first step and he ensures that he killed Kamsa, which was the biggest shock for Jarasandha, his son-in-law. Now both his daughters have become widows. During those days, it was that if her widowed daughters, they had children who were of a major age and who could take care of their mother, well, they were, the daughter of a person would be with their grandsons. But now here they didn't have any children, so he had to call back both their daughters. And after this, Jarasandha attacked Sri Krishna 18 times, but Sri Krishna was not able to kill Jarasandha. Now, why, we will learn in this today's class, why Krishna is so powerful, the Lord, the Almighty, he is not able to kill Jarasandha. He couldn't, and he knows that if he does not play a ploy, then he will get killed by Jarasandha. It's a war eventually, you know. And Jarasandha had that great army with him because he had all the entire 78% almost of the entire province was under his control. So that large army had. In that scenario, he takes the help of our barbarian king who had a huge army. Now, you know, this particular Kala Yuvan, we heard of this particular story in the last class, Kala Yavana. Now, Kala Yavana was killed, and how he was killed, where I told you that he was never to be defeated on the war field. So Krishna ran from the war field, where he got the name as Ranchor, and then he gets into a cave, and Muchukunda, who was the forefather of Sri Rama, was sleeping over there, who had a bone, and all that we understood. Now, Kalayavana was killed. This was another big shock to Jarasandha. Okay, by heroism, Sri Krishna, so far he had depicted that he killed two of the great heroes, that is Kamsa and Kalayavan. Now, he says, I should attack on the goodwill, integrity of Jarasandha, because you know that is more painful for anybody. So now there we come to Rukmini Devi's marriage. Now imagine the situation there. Rukmini Devi was about to get married, and as we all know, during those days you had this Swayamvar, where the girl had the choice to choose her own husband, where all the Rajkumars of various kingdoms were invited, and she gets a choice to choose her husband, prospective would-be husband. Now, Rukmini, from her young age, in fact she is none other than the avatar of goddess Lakshmi, Rukmini Devi, she was in love with Sri Krishna. from her young age. She had heard about his heroism and all his leelas and all that. So the parents knew about it. Now, in this scenario, although the father knew, the parents knew about her liking towards Lord Krishna, it so happened that Rukmi, her brother, he was in opposition to this proposal of getting her married to Sri Krishna. Now he wanted to become a great king. So now what was his plan? He wanted to take the support of the emperor, we can call the Chakravarti Jarasandha. He is an ambitious prince, and he wanted, definitely he would want to ally with the emperor. So now he said to Jarasandha that let's get married Rukmini to Shishupala, who was another idiot. And Shishupala was an ally of Jarasandha. So now Jarasandha liked this plan. He said, oh, that's great. And in this way, now there was a tussle in the family. Bhishmaka was the father of Rukmini. Now, however best he tried to convince Rukmi, he did not heed to it, and a Swayamvar was destined to happen. Now when the Swayamvar is about to happen, she knows that now I don't have a choice. My brother has overpowered my father. So she was extremely unhappy. In that situation, she manages to silently send a letter. That is, her father and she both send a letter to Sri Krishna, to Dwarka. Now Sri Krishna, when he got to know this invitation, meaning so and so thing has happened, she says, see, I want to marry you. And she also tells that there is one place where I'll be left alone, that is in before the Swayamvar, I'll be going to Parvati Devi's temple. So you please take me from there, and I don't want to get this marriage which my brother is forcing me to enter into. Now Lord Krishna, he sends a message, don't worry, I am coming. So this gave some relief to Rukmini as well as her father. Now see what Jarasandha has done. He knows that Krishna will come for the Swayamvar. So in that entire hall of Swayamvar, he arranged it in such a way that there is no room for Krishna, no place for Krishna, Sri Krishna to sit down. Okay. So that it's an insult for him, no? Like all the princes of various states have come and Krishna doesn't get a seat. So he wanted to insult him in those lines. And at the same time, Jarasandha was also, he had a doubt in his mind that Krishna is not somebody who will fall into all this. Probably he may do something else. So he had kept his army also ready. If anything goes wrong, as plan B, let us be ready to attack Krishna. Meanwhile, now Shishupala was extremely overjoyed when Rukmi told him that, come, I'll ensure that you get married to my sister Rukmini. And Rukmini was known for her beauty. She was extremely beautiful, and everybody knew that she was beyond compare. So all the more he said, okay, I am getting married to such a beautiful girl, and now the plot is set. The Swayamvar is about to commence. All the kings have come, the princes have come, and they are seated. At that point of time, Sri Krishna, he does not enter the Swayamvar place. He takes the help of Balram, his brother, and he tells him, look, now this is our plan. And just as Rukmini had instructed him that I'll be at the Parvati temple and please come there and take me, he goes to the Parvati temple and he picks her up from there. And they go away. Now, as I told you, plan B, what Jarasandha was, he knew that something of this kind could happen. So immediately the entire army started chasing these three people. Who are there now? Balram, Krishna and Rukmini. Now, Balram is managing the army. Sri Krishna says, don't worry, I'll take Rukmini and go away, and Rukmi was chasing Krishna. So then a fierce battle happens between Sri Krishna and Rukmi, and on the other hand Balram and the entire army. Here Balram was able to take control of the army, and Sri Krishna defeats Rukmi, that is Rukmini's brother, and he was about to kill him. When he was about to kill him, Rukmini falls at her feet, as Sri Krishna's feet, and says, please don't kill him, he's my brother, leave him. So then you know what Krishna does? He shaves Rukmi's head and he says, you go now, let him free. Now this can be one of the greatest shame or an insult to a warrior who has been defeated and who has been sent on these lines. Anyway, now that was one part where Rukmi's anger for Krishna further increased, and Jarasandha's anger also further increased. But meantime Rukmini got married with Sri Krishna at Dwarka. And now here this particular story, one is why we are talking about this is, you know, Jarasandha, who had that pride and wanted to insult Sri Krishna, how he was given a befitting reply. That is one part. And the second part, most important part, is the princesses in those days, they had the right to choose their own husbands. For which purpose the father, who normally is the king, he used to invite, as I told you. Now here, in case of Rukmini, normally we think that, you know, Sri Krishna eloped Rukmini. It was not the case. It was like Rukmini, she herself had written to Sri Krishna, you please come and marry me. So it was that she exercised her rightful choice as a bride, and Sri Krishna, he accepted it. And Sri Krishna showed to the world that he is there as to protect the rights of a woman. So this is the most important part, what we learn from this particular incident. Okay, so in this way, now Lord Krishna marries Rukmini Devi, and now you can see Jarasandha is furthermore put out. Now we come to the story of Narakasura. So Kamsa killed, then now is the turn of Narakasura. Narakasura was the one who had captured 16,100 princes. Okay, now listen, now this is another very interesting thing. You know, in Puran what has happened is, each one has got their own life history, past life, and they are somebody great again. They have got so many boons, and how that boon given by one god has to be further defeated by another god. We will study about this. Now, Narakasura. Narakasura is supposed to be the son of Bhudevi. His original name is Naraka. And he is born to, as per the Brahma Puran and Vishnu Puran, it is said that he is born to Bhudevi and fathered by the Varaha incarnation of Vishnu or Hiranyaksha, as they say. Okay, so he is none other than the son of Vishnu and Bhudevi. Okay, now it so happened that, again, being a son of such a virtuous parents, you know, they have their own set of egos and things like that. He was in wrong company. Who? Naraka. He was in wrong company with two asuras, and that was those two asuras. So that's how he was also called as Narakasura, because he eventually, because of that influence, bad influence, what they say, you know, bad friends in his company, he got the name as Narakasura. Now, after and those asuras are known as Banasura and I think I don't get the other name. Okay, so these asuras' influence on him was so much that he tried to show off his power. What he does was, the goddess of all the devatas, Aditi, he goes to Aditi and he flicks her earrings. Now it is not about the value of the earring or the price over there. It is about the maryada, what we call, the pride, as they say, the pride of the woman is completely now shattered. So Aditi now, she says, how do we manage such a guy who doesn't have any respect, because she is the heavenly mother goddess. So she also knows that Vishnu had given a vardhan to Bhudevi that he will have a long life. Who? Narakasura. And Narakasura cannot be killed by anybody else other than his own mother. Now look, see these conditions. And how will a mother kill her own son? So which means Narakasura felt that I can do any damn thing I want to do on this earth. So with this promise and his kind of all this nonsense things happening, now Vishnu said, don't worry, I will. Now Indra and all the other devatas, they go to Vishnu and says, see this Narakasura, what he is doing. He says, give me time, when I take Krishna avatar, I'll manage Narakasura. Till then you will have to manage. So on those lines, now the right time has come. Now again Sri Krishna cannot kill Narakasura. Now what has Narakasura done? He has captured, and in captivity has kept all the 16,100 princesses. So now here a situation comes where Aditi, the goddess of, the mother of all gods, she happens to be a relative of Krishna's wife Satyabhama. Now who is Satyabhama? She was the avatar of Bhudevi in her previous birth. Okay, see the connection. Now everybody, now this, when I was thinking, it also opens my mind that with whomever we are related in this life, we all have some great give and take. We are related, in a way we are related. We don't understand how we were related in the previous birth, but we have come to give and take. It could be pain, it could be joy, sorrow, whatever it is. Some benefit. Something is there. So Satyabhama, who was Bhudevi, a mother of Narakasura in the previous life, now she becomes Satyabhama and she becomes the wife of Sri Krishna. Okay. So now what happened? Satyabhama was the mother, she has that capacity to kill Narakasura. Now, when Aditi approached Satyabhama and said, see, this is what has happened to me, so she gets furious. She gets furious and she tells Sri Krishna, come, let's wage a war against Narakasura. And as promised to the Devas and the Aditi, Krishna attacked the great fortress of Narakasura, extremely strong character again, on his mount Garuda with Satyabhama. Both of them are seated on Garuda and they enter the fort. Now Krishna uses Narayanastra and Agni Astra against the army of Narakasura. This battle was furiously fought. Narakasura had 11 Akshohini Sainya, which he unleashed to attack Krishna, but the fight went on. In fact, one of the greatest warriors of those times, which was Mura. Mura was the army general of Narakasura. So Krishna kills Mura, and that's how he is also called as Murari, because he killed Narakasura's general Mura. Now, several divine weapons, now it is, the armies are fighting. Now Narakasura and Sri Krishna are fighting face to face. Narakasura straight employs the Brahmastra against Krishna. Brahmastra is, we all know, we use this word in while talking also, Brahmastra we say, which is the supermost astra which is in existence. Now Krishna neutralizes it with his own Brahmastra. Then Narakasura uses Agneastra, but Krishna nullifies it with Varnastra. Then Narakasura further sends Nagapashastra. He negates it with Garudastra. So like this, Narakasura again he sends Vaishnavastra, and Krishna he again meets it with another Vaishnavastra, so neutralization. So like this the fight goes on and on and on. Now Krishna is, Narakasura finally throws a trident, the Trishul, against Krishna. Now Krishna he manages to escape from that Trishul. Now because there is a boon that Narakasura could not be killed by anyone other than who has given birth to him, that is the mother. Now Satyabhama, she has those feelings of a son against Narakasura. When she sees that this kind of outrage is happening on her husband, she gets a jolt. She didn't come all of a sudden, but at that point she takes the Vishnu Chakra from Krishna and she attacks Narakasura and beheads him with Krishna's Sudarshan Chakra. So this is how Narakasura finally dies. See, great characters who have got great boons, and the Lord has to somehow create a plot, a situation. So anything in our life which happens, good, bad, ugly, when you listen to these stories, why I went into all these details is, see who is Satyabhama, see who is Krishna, who is Aditi, who is Narakasura, and on that, when Narakasura is beheaded, then he asks for a boon to his mother Satyabhama and Krishna, of course. He says, let my day of death be celebrated with colorful lights. So that's why we celebrate Naraka Chaturdashi the day before Deepavali. That was the day when Narakasura was killed. He says, I want this boon. And they said, yes, it is granted. So like this, now Narakasura is killed, and all the 16,100 Rajkumaris who were in custody, now they are released. Okay, all the Rajkumaris came out, and good thing was that they were not raped or used for any sensual pleasures. That was one good thing which had happened, because the fear of Jarasandha was there. Otherwise, what was Jarasandha? He respected women. Okay, he did not like ill-treating women. He said, I just want you to put them in captivation, but you should not mistreat them. So that way, indirectly, the chastity of all these women were completely protected. But we know, like even Sita Devi, when she was with Ravana, although physically nothing happened to her, but she at one point of time, she had to face the music, because she had gone to an Asura's place and come out. In the same way, now all these 16,100 Rajkumaris, they tell Krishna, because he tells them, now okay, you please go back to your kingdom, I will ensure that you reach over there and you be happy and things like that. Now all these 16,100 Rajkumaris tell Krishna, how can we go back to our kingdom, and who will marry us? You know, Sita Devi, that kind of a pious lady, she had to face the wrath. And how we ordinary princesses, Rajkumaris, how can we lead a normal life? No, we don't want to go to our kingdoms. Now there again, Lord Krishna, he says, yes, I understand. And he marries all the 16,100. Means again it talks about the protection of women, which Lord Krishna says, see, my very purpose is protection of dharma, and in that protection of women comes as one of the most important agenda. Now again is an understanding for this, who were the 16,100 captivated women? Now these were none other than the great rishis of the past, who wanted to be a part of the Lord's incarnation on earth. He says, when we are going to earth, they also said, we want to come with you and all. He says, how can I take you all? Where do I fit you in this whole gambit of Rachana? Rachana is creation. So the rishis say, somewhere we want to be with you. So far you have never taken us along with you during your incarnation. Please see that we come with you, we live with you, and we want to be with you. See, that is what anybody who is very dear to us, you always want to be with them, isn't it? So this was what these rishis expressed, and then the Lord said, okay, in my next, when I take an avatar next, this will be your situation, and there I will marry each one of you. Now it is not that, Lord Krishna, he just married and he's one person. No, according to us, he's one person. But he built a palace with huge gardens, full of colorful flowers, with servants, with all the amenities, to all the 16,100 forms of those great rishis who were now the princesses. And he himself became, he had those multiple forms, 16,100 Krishnas, living with each one of them as Sri Krishna lived with his 8 wives in his grand palace. He lived with all these 16,100 independently. So they never felt that they were away from Lord Krishna. And the scriptures also say that each and every this Rajkumari who eventually married Sri Krishna, each and every Rajkumari had 10 sons and 1 daughter. The same number. Huh? No, I don't know what is the story behind this 10 sons and 1 daughter. That could be something else again, but this is how it is. So this is how a protection of women and fulfilling the wishes of these great rishis and correcting situations where things have gone wrong. Wonderful. Okay, now the third wicket down is Narakasura. Now most important person is Jarasandha. Jarasandha, they say his power was equal to 10,000 elephants. That was his power. Now 15-20 years passed by after all this what had happened, and at one point Yudhishthira wanted to do Rajasuya Yajna. So he consulted Lord Krishna. So, look, I want to do Rajasuya Yajna and this is my plan, and he explains entire plan to Lord Krishna. Now Lord Krishna says, Yudhishthira, you know one thing, for doing a Rajasuya Yajna, you need we call it as Kappu Kanike. Kappu Kanike means a tribute, an acceptance from all the kings on this land. And we know for sure that Jarasandha will not give this tribute. He will not accept you as the Chakravarti. And you know for a fact that 18 times I managed to save myself. Krishna doesn't say that I could not kill him. He goes one step further and he says, I managed to save myself from Lord Krishna by running away and doing so many things, but I could not defeat him. And if you think you can defeat, please go ahead and get that tribute from him. Because if somebody does not give willingly, then you wage a war against that person and you eventually take that tribute from him and you declare yourself by doing Rajasuya Yajna as the monarch. He says, please go ahead. So now he creates that scare and that doubt in the mind of Dharmaraja Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira no sooner he listens to this, he immediately says, I drop the idea. I don't want. Yeah, because he knows what Lord Krishna is. And if Lord Krishna has ran away from Jarasandha 18 times, then where will I survive? He says, no, I drop the plan. Okay, let's leave it. Now, after this, now Lord Krishna, he is, what we say in a slang, we say chalu, no? He knows how to change situations and how to create that kind of resistance, and then again bring back the main subject. Very interesting. So now he says, look, why should we drop the idea? When problems come, we have to face. See, now he completely talks in a different tone. He says, yes, this is the problem. If I cannot do, what stops you from doing? Yudhishthira does not understand. He says we should find methods. Krishna says we should find methods to face these challenges in life. See what a message is giving us. So if somebody better than us has failed in doing something, please don't get demotivated. That lesson is what we have to learn over here. Just because he is better than you, he is well equipped than you, and if he has failed, you don't take it for granted that you will not be able to achieve it. He says, face it. You change your strategy, make a plan, whatever you can, but attempt. So now Yudhishthira knows Lord Krishna has managed to be saved from Jarasandha, even though Lord Krishna had Narayani Sena, the Yadava Sena, which was supposed to be the best of those times. And he had Balarama with him, he had Satyaki, Pradyumna, who is Rukmini's eldest son, and Yudhana was the chief of Narayani Sena, another great commander-in-chief, a great warrior, but still he could not defeat. Now all this is playing at the back of Yudhishthira's mind. But when Lord Krishna says, we have to think of another strategy and achieve whatever results we want to achieve, he immediately understands. He knows what Lord Krishna is. He knows that he plays such kind of games. So within and within he is now satisfied. He says, okay, let me listen to what Lord Krishna's plan is. And then Lord Krishna slowly says, look, I have a plan. I don't want your Sena or anybody. You just give me Arjuna and Bheema. He tells Dharmaraja, Lord Krishna, just give me Arjuna and Bheema, that's enough. And what will you do? He says, don't worry, I'll go to Jarasandha's palace and I will do whatever is necessary and get you that Kappu Kanike, meaning that tribute. Don't worry. Now look how he changed the scenario. First what he created, what all stories he said, and then how he immediately motivates him, and then finally he is the Lord. Meaning in our life, you just imagine you are confronting such a situation, but Yudhishthira's confidence, his faith, his prapatti, surrender was so much in Lord Krishna. He just knows that, oh, I know this is Lord's game. Now what prayer do we say? I know whatever you are doing is doing for my upliftment. You may be giving me the worst of the situation in life, but oh Lord, I know that this is for my upliftment. I am not going to accept these situations with defeat, because you are there with me. So this is what are the insights we need to get from these stories. In that short conversation, how things changed and what was the attitude of Dharmaraja towards Lord Krishna. And then Lord Krishna sees mercy. He says, I don't want anything from you. I don't want your army. I don't want any great comfort. Just to send Arjuna and Bheema with me. Can there be a better deal? So meaning in life, such things can happen when our faith, surrender is to that extent over the Lord. We start doubting, no, that should not happen. So now, moving on. So Lord Krishna says this, and he says, I will do what is necessary. Now let me move forward. In this way, now Lord Krishna along with Arjuna and Bheema, they dress themselves as Brahmins. Now they are not dressed as Kshatriyas, they are like Brahmins. Okay, in proper attire of a Brahmin, they move towards Jarasandha's kingdom. Now, here, that's another, Jarasandha's kingdom was again a heavenly place. So, he was the emperor of Magadha, okay, and the name of the capital was Girivraja, and Girivraja, it had like, it was on mountains, this particular capital, and as they moved up to the mountains, they could see that all across there were oceans of cows and sheep. See, cows and sheep are supposed to be the greatest wealth which anybody can. Now, if you go to somebody's house and if you see half a dozen top brand cars, luxury cars, you will say, oh, he's a rich person. No? So those days it was like you have cows, sheep, then you are a very rich person kind. So this majestic town, apart from these oceans of cows and sheep which they could see all around, there was a water source which was inexhaustible, they say, and fine mansions which are systematically aligned, meaning that shows of the prowess, that fine architecture, which meaning the best of the architects of the world were situated there. And the city was free from any kind of calamity because it had these 5 large hills which were surrounding the entire kingdom, covered with cool shade trees, meaning they are talking of the flora and fauna, bearing flowers of every scent and color which one could think of. And it was said that this great sage Gautama Maharishi, he once had an ashram over here. And Manu had ordered, that was a gift to this king of Magadha. Manu had said that this land will never be afflicted by drought, which meaning drought is something which can defade the entire prosperity of a kingdom. So this was the splendor of Jarasandha's kingdom. Now, Arjuna, Krishna and Bheema, they enter the kingdom, and first thing what they do is, there is one mountain known as Chaitakya. It was in the form of a shivling, okay, and what they say is, some time back, Brihadratha was the father of Jarasandha. He had killed Asura by name Rishava, and from Rishava's skin, they had made 3 kettle drums, okay, from his skin, and they say that when they beat those drums, that reverberating sound, it echoed for 1 full month. These are something which no other kingdom has, So that's what they're trying to talk of, this glory here. Now that Chaitakya peak was that like that search and vigilant tower of the entire kingdom, which had naturally that shivling akar position over there. These people first go there, and now that is the pride of this kingdom. What they do is they smash that peak. They completely smash that peak and bring it to the ground. And from there they enter. Now they're still in that Brahmin attire only. They enter the Girivraja kingdom and they're walking in the main road, 3 of them. And there they see that there are shops on the left, on the right, which is having various eateries, snacks, handcrafted items, and they have got floral bouquets. So as they are entering, now the citizens of Magadha are looking at these 3 heroes. To them they looked like elephants with broad necks and chests. Now Krishna, Bheema and Arjuna, they know what they do. They are in a playful mood now. they go and from one of these flower shops they take garlands and they put garlands themselves, on they wear garlands. And fortunate is that flower shop owner actually from where they took this garland. And then they go to another shop and they take that sandalwood paste and they apply sandalwood paste on their bodies. Now they're decked with colors of flowers by garlands and that perfume of the sandalwood paste. Now they have to enter the Jarasandha's palace. They have entered the kingdom. Now is the time to enter the palace. What Krishna says is, he says, well, to enter Jarasandha's palace, as I told you, two things he had in his, Jarasandha was famous for. He regarded the Brahmins with utmost respect, which means at any point of time, any Brahmin was not stopped by the guards, be it at the main gate or be it even in the most integral part of the king's palace. So any Brahmin could easily enter. But now here, despite they had that entry opportunity, they go from the back door. They jump those back walls and they get into the kingdom, and then they appear before the king. Now the king says, you know that Brahmins are very gracefully allowed to enter. Why did you come from the back wall, jumping the back wall? Then Lord Krishna says, look, much before he had told Arjuna and Bheema that I will tell the king that you both are on Mauna Vrat and you are not talking, because he wanted to take the conversation forward. He didn't want to cause any kind of ambiguity there. So he says, these two are on Mauna Vrat. Why we entered from the back gate is whenever we enter enemy's place, we enter from the back door, and to a friend's place we enter from the main door. That is our culture. Jarasandha laughs. He says, what? You Brahmins? What enmity do I have with you? And then he says, Lord Krishna is talking to him. He says, yes, we have enmity with you, and conversation goes on. In the meantime, Jarasandha notices the bowstring marks on the shoulders of these three people, meaning they're warriors. Otherwise, you don't have those bowstring marks. He says, look, you all don't seem to be like a Brahmin to me. You look like Kshatriyas. Tell me who you are. Then they say, yes, you know what is the purpose of we having come here? You have in captivity 22,800 Rajkumars. You please release them. And we will go. We don't want to fight, do nothing with you. He says, please tell me your identity, Jarasandha asks. Then Lord Krishna says, I am Krishna. He is Arjuna, and next to him is Bheema. Suddenly Jarasandha bursts into laughter. He says, you Ranchor, how dare you came over here, and why this disguise and all? And now you are asking me to release these Rajkumars whom I have kept in cavity? Have you gone out of your mind? Krishna says, look, I give you an option. I don't want to fight with your army. You can choose to fight with any one of us or all the three of us. Any weapon you want, you can choose. And if you win, we will just go away like that. And if you lose, then naturally we claim Adipatya. So Jarasandha says, okay, I'll fight with one of you, but definitely not with you, coward. You are a cowherd boy, and also you are a coward also. I will not fight with you. And then he looks at Arjuna and he says, Arjuna is younger to me. I don't want to fight with a guy who is younger to me. And even if I win over him, they'll say, they'll say that you've waged a war with somebody who is younger, and naturally he would win. So I'll not get the full credit. So not with Arjuna also. Bheema is my age. And he says, even if I lose with Bheema, still my glory will be to the fullest, because I have lost to somebody who is of that stature. He says, come, I will choose Bheema to fight with. Now, this way, the Jarasandha and Bheema, the fight started. All the entire kingdom is there to visit, to view this fight. First they start with Gada, one after the other weapons. Everything is getting, all the weapons are getting broken, but this fight is continuing. Finally, Malla Yuddha. Malla Yuddha means wrestling with their own arms. That fight goes on. 28 days fight is on. These two artists, they are like fighting in such a way that it was a beautiful, dramatic dance on a stage. That was the kind of expertise these two were deploying in their fight. It was like every stroke of theirs was like a thunderbolt, they say. On the 29th day, Bheema tells Sri Krishna, I can't fight anymore. Jarasandha is impossible to conquer. Now that is when Lord Krishna says, we know that Jarasandha is born to two different mothers, half a baby, and was joined into two parts. So he takes a twig and he tears apart the twig and he throws in opposite direction. And that's exactly what Krishna did. And eventually he killed Jarasandha. Meaning how the body is exactly like, meaning it has to be torn into two. From the anal region till the head, it has to be exactly made two parts. Like you have one leg, one thigh, one breast, one half a backbone and half a chest, one collarbone, one arm, one eye, one ear and half a face. So this way Jarasandha's face was completely torn and threw apart, and finally Jarasandha dies. Now see how tactfully Sri Krishna makes a move. He calls the son of Jarasandha, who was by name Sahadeva. So he calls Sahadeva, and Sahadeva is now trembling. He saw his father's death in front of him. Such great heroes are standing. Now what will they do with me? And my father has done all the worst things possible. So he goes and surrenders to Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna says, look Sahadeva, you still continue to be the king of this kingdom, Magadha kingdom. I don't want to take away your kingdom. He says, ensure that all these the Rajkumars whom you have kept in captivity, they are given a good shower, good attire to wear, and good food to eat, and please release all of them. Now, when all the 22,800 Rajkumars they come, they immediately surrender to Lord Krishna. And they say, yes, for this particular Rajasuya Yajna, we have our fullest cooperation, our tribute. See, look, now he got the entire 22,800 kingdoms in his favor. And of course, Sahadev also was in his favor. And this way, he manages to get back. Yadavasena is of course his. Now you have, whom you have? Kauravas. Now Kauravas and Pandavas are into trouble. Thereafter we know what happens. So like this, Lord Krishna kills Jarasandha and he brings most of the aspect under control. Now you may wonder, why was Lord Krishna not able to kill Jarasandha? And why is that he chose only Bheema? Now the story behind this is during the Mahabharata time, 5 of the strongest people, or you can say the warriors, were born with the same star, what we call as the birth star. And you know what the prophecy had told? That out of those 5 people, any one person who kills, out of the balance 4, who kills the first, he will be the person who is going to kill all the 5. And this prophecy was known to Kunti Devi. And that's why when after the Lakshagraha, the wax palace incident, when they were in Ajnatavas, at that time, you remember, like there was one person meaning a demon known as Bakasura. So they were living in a small village known as Ekachakra, and Bakasura was one person who was just rampantly going into the village and killing the villagers. So where Bheema and meaning all the 5 brothers and Kunti Devi were staying, so Kunti Devi one day says, no, please don't kill people like this. We will keep sending you a cartload of food on a daily basis. And one day Bheema goes with that cartload of food and he kills this Bakasura. Now these 5 people, which is good to know, are Bheema, Duryodhana, Bakasura, Kichaka and Jarasandha. So these 5 people are born on with the same birth star. And now what had happened? It was out of these 5, Bheema had killed Bakasura first. So which means what? The other 3, Duryodhana, Kichaka and Jarasandha, were to be killed at the hands of Bheema. So that's how these are like, I may be the Lord Krishna knows, I may be the Lord, but I have put a rule in place. Now I cannot break that rule. So although Jarasandha attacked me 18 times, I found ways to save myself from him because I don't have the power to kill him. Who has the power? Bheema has the power. So he brings a situation in such a way that eventually there is a one-to-one fight between Bheema and Jarasandha, and he finally kills him. So now we have to draw some lessons here also. What we can understand over here, imagine any situation which comes in our life. We don't know what is the ploy of the Lord behind. And anything which as per karma, now the Lord has made a rule that whatever good, bad you have done as per your karma will come back to you. So now Bheema had the glory of killing such great asuras. Now even the Lord cannot take that glory which was already destined or nominated for Bheema. So in this way we have to just accept whatever is coming. And in the future verses we will understand how to overcome this Jiva Bhava. What one needs to do in terms of karma, overcome, burn our karmas and ensure that we slowly come out of this Jiva Bhava into the Paramatma Tattva Bhava. So in this way, now Lord Krishna, he kills Jarasandha, and eventually now then we come to the last segment would be of we know what happened in the war against Duryodhana. Finally that is one great asura who is killed. Okay, now what we'll do is, okay, it's time up. We'll study what is the meaning of dharma. Okay, we didn't recite the shloka today. Let's recite the shloka. Number 7, chapter 4. Yada yada hi dharmasya ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानमधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम्. So here most importantly Yada yada hi dharmasya. Meaning, first let's understand the meaning of dharma with more in more depth, so that we know that what the Lord has come, He Himself has come with the aid of so many other devatas, which we discussed in our last session, because He knows that this is a massive task. Such great people with such great boons are now gone against Dharma. So, for that, He has to prepare Himself in such a way that He is able to combat such asuras. So, what was His main mission? Dharma. So, once we get an understanding of Dharma and we live a life which is based on the principles of Dharma, then it is like Lord's protection is inbuilt for you. It becomes inherent. He wants Dharma to be protected, and you are on His side protecting Dharma. So naturally, it is that Lord, you are in the Lord's army. The Lord is the commander in chief. So when Lord is the commander in chief of your army, and you are fighting hurdles in your life, keeping the dharmic principles in life, then what can destroy you? So we'll understand this in our next class. Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Now we'll study the divine names. Today we are starting with verse 31, Sri Vishnu Sahasranam. Yeah, Mrs. Durga Suri said, you had said that Jarasandha had two daughters only. That was at that point when Kamsa was killed, and thereafter he got a son. Yes. Vishnu Sahasranam, Shloka number 31. अमृतांशोद्भवो भानुः शशबिन्दुः सुरेश्वरः औषधं जगतः सेतुः सत्यधर्मपराक्रमः. 283. Amritamshodbhavah. The moon, who has consoling rays that gives the essential food value in terms of rasa to the plants and fruits, is called in Sanskrit as Amritam. Amritam and Amritamshuhu. So in the Puranas, it is described that the moon was first born from the Milky Ocean during its journey. Subjectively, moon, which is also Mati, is the presiding deity of the intellect. And the discriminating intellect itself arose when our bosom started churning the heart of by these two forces, the positive, which is the good, the devas, and the negative, which is vicious asuras. So if the sun is the presiding deity of energy, moon represents the world of matter, and the very source from which the world of matter kshetra has risen is Amritam Sudbhavaha. 284 Bhanuhu, which means a self-effulgent, one who expresses himself for the blessing of the world in the form of the sun and presides over the entire solar system. Such a Lord is known as Bhanuhu. To such a Lord and Almighty, we offer our humble salutation and seek His. Let's chant the Dhanvantari mantra 3 times. ॐ नमो भगवते महासुदर्शनाय वासुदेवाय धन्वन्तरये अमृतकलशहस्ताय सर्वभयविनाशाय सर्वरोगनिवारणाय त्रैलोक्यपतये त्रैलोक्यनिधये श्रीमहाविष्णुस्वरूप श्रीधन्वन्तरी स्वरूप श्री 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 औषधचक्र नारायणाय स्वाहा। ॐ नमो भगवते महासुदर्शनाय वासुदेवाय धन्वन्तरये अमृतकलशहस्ताय सर्वभयविनाशाय सर्वरोगनिवारणाय त्रैलोक्यपतये त्रैलोक्यनिधये श्रीमहाविष्णुस्वरूप श्रीधन्वन्तरी स्वरूप श्री 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 औषधचक्र नारायणाय स्वाहा। ॐ नमो भगवते महासुदर्शनाय वासुदेवाय धन्वन्तरये अमृतकलशहस्ताय सर्वभयविनाशाय सर्वरोगनिवारणाय त्रैलोक्यपतये त्रैलोक्यनिधये श्रीमहाविष्णुस्वरूप श्रीधन्वन्तरी स्वरूप श्री 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 औषधचक्र नारायणाय स्वाहा। To the Lord of Health, we offer our humble salutations and beseech in Him to give us the requisite health till our mission and goal is accomplished. Om. Now, let's do the Sakshatkara Siddhi Yoga Dhyana with pearls of wisdom. Now, this pearls of wisdom will help us a lot in understanding our true nature. So, let's meditate on this as a part of our meditation plan. Please be comfortable wherever you all are seated. Any portion of the body which is making you uncomfortable, relax that portion. Come to a state of complete ease and comfort. Head, neck and spine in a straight line. Relax your face, your neck, your shoulders, your hands, upper body, and your lower. Let's take a deep breath in and out 3 times. Breathe as deep as you can and exhale as deep as you can. Now let's start observing our mind and the thoughts that cross our mind with the Sakshi Bhava as a pure witness. Observe a thought that comes to your mind, and without thinking about the thought, allow it to pass away. Not be judgmental on any thought. See the number of thoughts slowly reducing in your mind. Just as you see the birds in the sky, without being judgmental, look at your thoughts and see them pass away. Now let's listen to the pearls of wisdom. Shri Gurubhyo Namah. All the movable and immovable you see in existence is by the union of Kshetra and Kshetra. Know that the Paramatma accompanies the Atma, which is present in all beings, and understand that Atma and Paramatma are imperishable in this perishable body. Paramatma is equally present in every soul. All actions are performed by Prakriti and not the Atma. All the diverse living beings are a part of one Prakriti and are born by that one Prakriti, which is created by that one Paramatma. Such Paramatma, who does not have any beginning, who does not have any material qualities, this imperishable Paramatma, although he dwells in the body, he neither acts nor he is tainted. Just like space holds everything but does not get contaminated, same way the soul, the Atma, although pervading in the entire body, does not get contaminated. Just as the sun illumines the whole universe, same way the Atma illumines the entire body. In this way, the one who perceives with eyes of knowledge this subtle difference between Kshetra, which is Vikari, Jada, momentary, and destructible, and who understands Kshetrajna as Nitya, Chetana, Avikari, and Avinashi. And also those who understand that all actions are performed by Prakriti will attain that supreme Hari Om. That's it. Now visualize the consciousness which has enveloped the entire universe. That Chaitanya Shakti reflecting on your mind becomes the reflected consciousness, the Chaitanya Shakti, and you are known as a Jiva. Your true identity is that Chaitanya Shakti and not the reflected consciousness. This reflected consciousness is Jada and the Chaitanya Shakti is sentient. This body, mind and senses in the reflected consciousness are changing, whereas the Chaitanya Shakti is changeless. The Chaitanya Shakti is Nitya and the reflected consciousness, body, mind is Anitya. Keep repeating these words of Atma Jnana to yourself again and again. And move from the Jiva Bhava that you are this body, mind and senses. That you are this person with whom you have identified yourself. Move from this illusion that you are not this body, mind, senses and the person, and that Paramatma Tattva is the supreme truth and truth alone. Completely transcend your mind and stay in the presence and feeling of the Chaitanya Shakti, which is in the entire universe, experienced in you as the awareness. With the Bhagavad Kripa, we all have got this Atma Jnana. We pray for His blessings to be established in this Atma. Now bring your attention to your breath. Become aware of yourself. Become aware of your surroundings. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Rub your palm, place them on your eyes. Feel the warmth gently and lovingly. Open your eyes. Together, we offer today's Gita Gnana Yajna at the lotus feet of the Lord and seek His grace, mercy, and blessing. Naham karta hari karta. Sri Krishna arpanamastu. Idam namam. Idam namama. Om Tat Sat.